Also, over the weekend, there were numerous and massive demonstrations across America as more than 7 million people gathered for the latest No Kings rallies, protesting the president and his administration's policies. With us, we have contributing writer to the New York Times, Molly Jong-Fast, and opinion columnist at the New York Times and contributing writer at The Atlantic, David Brooks. His recent book, How to Know a Person, The Art of Seeing Others Deeply and Being Deeply Seen, is out tomorrow in paperback. Also with us, founder of the Yale Chief Executive Leadership Institute, Jeffrey Sonnenfeld. He's out with a new piece for Time titled What Trump's Gaza Ceasefire Speech Tells Us About Ukraine. We'll dig into that in just a moment. But Molly, we'll start with you. You were covered one of these No Kings rallies, I believe in New Jersey, over on Saturday. Tell us what it was like. Give us the sense of it and its spirit.
So I was in Montclair to talk to Mikey Sherrill, who is running for governor, and that election is in, I think, 14 days, right? Maybe a little more. It's a week.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And what I was struck by, I got there a bit early to sort of see Montclair is very much the home team, very lefty, but huge crowds, like just much more than they thought, and also very happy. And, you know, this movement has taken a kind of jubilance. They've tried to sort of use the American flag to show their patriotism because Republicans had attacked that. And so I thought it was really pretty, it was exuberant. And I also was really impressed with Mikey Sherrill gave this extremely rousing stump speech that got the crowd very engaged.
All right, and David, in the midst of the No Kings protests, your latest article for The Atlantic argues that the U.S. has been in urgent need of a major social movement or as risk becoming an autocracy. In your piece entitled America Needs a Mass Movement Now, you write in part, social movements are bigger than political parties and focused on more than just passing bills in Congress. They push for change on civic, cultural, institutional, and legislative fronts all at once. They change the climate of the age. Successful social movements find ways to build civic power. Authoritarians seek to divide and isolate their opponents to prevent collective action. So the mere act of organizing a coalition creates power. Individuals may be powerless, but groups are not. And actually, that you wrote before, and now that we have seen the magnitude of the No Kings rallies, how they played out across the country, how there were 2 million more people than the last one in June. How do you think it went, and what does the future portend in terms of building this power of the people?
I think it went great. The key for me, and I'm a narcissist, so does it appeal to people like me? I'm more center right, and I'm not going to be appealed to by a rally that seems super lefty. But these seem just patriotic and American. And so I feel completely at home at them. And that's important to build a broad coalition. When you look at the social movements, and there have been, like, in the course of the 20th century, there were like 323 social movements. An authoritarian, maybe democratically elected, tried to concentrate power. So what happens is all the people in civic society rise up, the teachers, the students, the workers, the military in some cases. And so that's what we need. And my core argument is that MAGA is a movement. It's not just a set of policies. It's not mostly a set of policies. It's a culture. It offers membership. It offers identity. It offers a vision of what a man should look like, what a woman should look like. And you can't beat that with a tax credit. And so Chuck Schumer is not going to save us here. We need to shift the whole populist tide, which has been sweeping the world since 2013. And you need a movement. And I thought the No Kings rallies were an excellent advance.
Would you argue, though, that MAGA is a movement with a leader and No Kings, or this movement that we're seeing, is it leaderless, or where are we going?
Yeah, that's a problem. If you looked at the Occupy Wall Street movement, that was a movement, but it had no leader,
Right.
it had no structure, it had no authority. By contrast, look at the civil rights movement. They had a leader in Martin Luther King, but they also had all sorts of coordinating organizations who would decide when things would happen and when the stories would be told. And so there has to be coordinating institutions who will, and the key phrase is a soap opera every day. Tell the American people every day, Trump did this. Trump destroyed some food because he didn't want to hand it to poor people in the world. Trump did that. Trump did that. Every day a soap opera, and every day an action that tells a story. We are not standing up for the politicization of the Justice Department. And that's the civil rights movement could do that because they had coordinating bodies. And sometimes on the left, there's an allergy to authority and to authoritative centralizing structure and to centralizing leaders because they want everything to be equal. But that just doesn't work.
A soap opera every day. Try a dozen soap operas every day. Jeffrey, that's what President Trump has done. He has. One of his undeniable skills is to be able to move the news cycle and sort of dominate the headlines. Your thoughts on that, how essential it would be, leadership is certainly a subject you know well about, for the other side, which clearly, though, we should say again, a remarkably large and peaceful protest this weekend.
I'm thrilled by that segue. I didn't anticipate it, and I was praying. I was trying to figure out how to make that link myself. Is because Molly, who actually his husband is a great Yalie, and we want to lure Molly back, and David,
Well,
David,
right
David
here on air.
David Brooks, who often teaches with us, is that you've touched on something, and because your question on this about the leader, who's the leader for all this. A lot of times I've come onto this show and complained as we've seen CEOs that get attacked for not leading the social change. The period of time that you're talking about, and David's talking about, and Molly, you're referring to, we didn't have CEOs at the forefront. They were not in the vanguard of social change. The Business Roundtable then was much different than it is today. It was much more activist and classically progressive in a traditional sense. But it was clergy across faith, linking arms at the front of the lines. It was trade union leaders, it was professional association heads. It was university leaders, including at my university and things. They've all become cowards these days until now, is that this is a major change. But you ask a good question as to whether or not we have a focal point of a key leader. Back then we had disparate leaders. We had a lot of people, whether or not it was at Notre Dame or Yale or Brandeis or others, or in the trade unions. And yes, we had Martin Luther King, but we had all these other groups too out front. So maybe we'll start to see some leaders emerge right now, but that's a very important point. Now, when you